Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome. It's Tuesday, the 21st of October, and to our team call, the Believers for Life team call. And we're so excited to have you again to see you. And I missed everybody last week. My wife and I were, thanks to the benefits of this amazing journey on LifeWave, we're able to take a trip out to Ireland and never been there before, and it was just spectacular. My wife and I now twice a year we go to Europe with this travel group, and which actually started with a school teacher many years ago who began to take his students on amazing trips around the country. Then he started taking them to Europe, and then the parents said, "Hey, we like to go too." And now that's morphed into basically 50 or 100, adults mainly, going on these fantastic trips that have already, all the research has already been done, all the bucket list items you ever want to be on, they're already done. And so all I do is pay and go. So I don't have to think. And so we were at the Cliffs, we were at Dublin, we were in Waterford. I mean, just so many wonderful places, just beautiful. And hey, we take this business where we go. So we had 50 people on the first group we were with, and we signed up for them. And we were patching them and sign them up, and because guess what? Everybody has stem cells are all going south, and they're looking for hope, and it's so awesome that we can bring hope to people that we never met before, and so actually one of them we told on our last trip, and she just forgot, and then she said, "Hey, can I get some of those passes?" "Yeah, we'll sign you up." So we signed everybody up. Basically, it was 3 packs and two sleeve auto ships. It was just simple to get started, and we had brought like 10 sleeves with us, so we are able to front them. They're going to mail them back to us, and it was pretty awesome. One of the gentlemen we patched at the airport, and we left on Thursday evening at 5, and then we were going to arrive at 6 a.m. in the morning on Friday and start our trip. And none of us really slept on the plane, but we patched him, uh, and he next morning he texts me, he says, "Ken, my knee pain, I don't have any knee pain. How do I get one of these patches?" And I always share one patch with everybody. And I tell people, hey, listen, 1 in 5 to 1 in 8 people are one patch wonder. It could be you, I don't know. But if you want, I'll share one with you now. It's 1 month for every 10 years of life. But I just want to show you how easy it is to wear this technology. So, and the people who are interested are the people who gives me now I have a follow-up. And so that's why I always just share one patch with people. I tell them who knows it's going to work or not. You tell me if it worked. And if you are, you're one of the few that does. And so I set them up. And out of that context, we signed some people up, and it was awesome. I mean, I'm signing people up in a bar, I'm saying we're all, you know, they're serving beers. I don't drink beer, there's showing you how to pour a good Guinness. There's a technique to this, we're learning, and, and I'm talking about the past two couples, and like, yeah, we need this, da da da. I said, great, here's how it works. And Diana had we have our sign up forms with us, and we just pulled out her little fanny pack and unfold that thing out there, and bam, just went through which one of these you want, 3, 6, or 20. I did the 20. Here's why. What are you looking for? And so just to kind of give you a flavor of how reality is in living, this, I call that SPD life, and it's just a blessing, where our antennas are up uh, with the Lord on, being available. And as long as your mouth is open, your business is open. That's what I love about this thing, and so, and if you pray, and patch, and, God's going to come in right there to help you out. And hey, people we thought we were talking to, we're going to sign up, didn't sign up. So we went through a lot of, yeah, I don't know, maybe they will, got excited. So we had to go through a handful of people, to get to the fore. That's how life works. And if you're ready, it's just like a baseball player bats at 300. What's that mean? That means he's going to make millions, she or he, whatever, is going to make millions. And, but that means 7 of 10 times they're going back to the dugout. They didn't make it. They didn't get on base. They struck out, what have you. But only 3 times did they make it around. And the majority of times they didn't. And they don't go back to the dugout all discouraged, like, oh, I don't know, man, then try to maybe hit the bat. No, they get out like, no, I'm swinging for the fences. So if you take the attitude that you're swinging for the fences every time, because the people need to know that. It's like Delora the other week when her and her husband, who got the most amount of points on the Bahama tractor, you know, when her attitude was like, listen, everybody owes me a bouquet of flowers. I'm calling because I'm offering something that deserves a bouquet of flowers back to me. And that's your attitude and my attitude. Our attitude should be like, I am calling you because I have something that will change your life. It's here in the patent. It's all these things it does. It's going to start doing inside of you. Who knows when, but it's going to start. Just do you want that? Yes or no? Yeah. So, confidence and belief, loving people, praying, and being real and being prepared, having your patches with you, having sign up sheets with you, anticipating the win is how we live. And we get beat up, we get surprised, but we keep going. You brush yourself off because the next person you may be the next miracle for. And it's worth getting through the thorns and the thistles and getting a little bloody to get those berries, right? And so it's worth it. That's what being worthwhile is. It means you went through something that wasn't easy and it made it worthwhile. So that's what we are. We're building an amazing team, amazing organization to get that done. And hey, tonight is one of our three, really our four fundamental meetings. And this is really important because in life, you're going to find that there's really four core fundamentals that if you're going to succeed in anything in life, you need to be plugged into. You got to be plugged into the basics. I share over and over again, Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, one of the best players in the world, still practicing every morning at 4 a.m. on the court, no ball in his hand, implementing the basics. They interviewed him, said, hey, what are you doing? Why do you think I'm the best player in the world, at least in his mind? Because I never get bored with the basics. So we have a basics train every Monday night, 7 o'clock. And then tonight is the second core. So basics is core. So if you go to anything that you're looking to excel in life, you got to get really good at the basics. I don't care whether you play piano, whether you go to church, and fellowship with people, if you're going to implement a good marriage. My wife and I we go to marriage groups 33 years in. Learn the basics. That's how to better talk to each other. I don't need to talk to anybody. So that's what you have your girlfriends for. Just get all your words out there and then we just be together. No, I'm just kidding. So anyways, I need some basic training, obviously, 33 years later, so the basics are so important, right? And so that's our Monday night. Tuesday night is community. Why does pickleball, why is such a phenomenon in the United States today? Well, it gives people who don't want to go play tennis or get overly some realistic something they can get their hands on because the gym isn't too exciting and now they can get around where other people are because there's community. Community. Why do you go to church? What do you get? You get community, you get koinonia, fellowship. People need to commune with each other, to get outside themselves, to be with other people, to feel better. And that's what we do, right? Community. Well, that's what tonight is. Tonight is our community. So we have basics Monday night, community is number two. That's how the human experience works, those two things right there. Then thirdly, what else? Well, if you're looking to achieve and succeed and become a greater impact in life, you need to learn about leadership. And why? Well, the 21 irrefutable laws that we've been going through, and week number 10 is coming up next week. Well, if you've been with us, you realize, my gosh, you're making changes. You're learning how to, like the last law last week is a law of magnetism. When people around you, do they feel drawn to you? And are you an adder, a subtractor, a divider, or a multiplier? Which one are you? Just that concept got me thinking. I'm like, sometimes I'm a multiplier, but sometimes I'm a subtractor, So I gotta, and when, you get more self-conscious of what you need to change in order to be more effective for the next person you're going to come in contact with. And that's leadership. And as you become more effective at connecting with people because they're attracted to you or you're adding to their life or helping them multiply, then you're going to build a bigger organization and your level of leadership is going to rise. And the more that rises, the bigger your organization is going to get because it attracts other people who want to be involved with that. And it's part of duplication. So we have those three fundamental meetings on 7 p.m. Basics Monday night, tonight community, and Wednesday night leadership. And so, and we know that this is the structure that you can bring your team to where it's a safe haven for them to be able to establish their future. And so those calls are recorded. They're 7 p.m. If you can't make them because of whatever, they're there, but they are really mission critical. Now, I mentioned initially it was four. There is a fourth, and the fourth are our X39 presentations. That's where the cattle call to bring new people to take a look at this amazing patch of hope and a team that if they want to plug in, they can partner with to set them free, get them to what I call walk away money. And that's part of my desire, my prayer. How can I help you get to walk away money? Well, I really can't unless you're willing, unless you plug into the system, unless you're someone who's willing to make changes. You know, welcome to the show. Guess what? We're all in the same boat. None of us here on this call have a boss. No one's telling us when to show up. No one's putting a quota on us, right? Isn't this awesome? We're all free agents. We can do what the heck we want. And so I love it, and you can do what you want. But I'm sifting and sorting and looking for people who are looking. Think about this. You need to be sifting and sorting and looking for people who are looking. And what does that look like? Their actions will tell you who they are. If you try to sell somebody into this, and try to persuade them into this, you're going to end up having to carry them around once they are in this. That's not, you're looking for people who are looking, and those people, their actions will show you they're looking because they'll start trying to sign people up. They'll start trying to get on the Zooms. They'll have a willingness. They'll have some opportunity to want to change, right? They'll be looking, and then that's who you want to spend 80% of your time with, but the 20 percenters that are like many of us on this call, that we're the ones who we're looking to get this thing done. We're willing to face the unknown and the ups and downs and willing to say, no, we're in the game here. We're going for it. So, congrats. And then the key is we're going to pray that we get a ton of people, and we believe it. I believe God's going to bless all three of these things. And the fourth too, eyeballs on Zooms, new people on Zooms. And we also have this new powerhouse of eyeballs with your upline, right? Penny Pender. Boom, Penny Pender. I have a friend, Penny Carpenter. Sorry, I have a kind of went to high school with him, Penny Pender, but Penny Carpenter, three-way calls all the way to elite SPD. And why? Because it wasn't so much eyeballs on Zooms as eyeballs and ears with your upline. So both work. So praise God. And so just to give you a heads up, to understand that there's a method to the madness of what we're doing that's designed to help you win and win big. And so praise God, that's what we're doing. And tonight, once again, there's a lot of men who are not on the call tonight because a lot of the men locally who are typically would be on the call, they're at there's two actually large men's groups coincidentally going on the same night, Tuesday night. And so there's a lot of men on this call tonight. And so God, and that's awesome. We say, and this opportunity is God first, then your family, then your work, and then this. And so I love to see if someone's not on a call like this, that it's because they're doing something with God or doing something that is family centric, taking their kids to ball games, whatever it may be, and or they've got a job to do. You got to, just your first thing. And then there's this. And in the balance of what this looks like when I was working 50 to 80 hours a week and I didn't have time for a side hustle, but yet I was lit like a Christmas tree with this opportunity and I was like a dog on the bone. It was like, this was my way out. This is what was going to get me through. And I kept the balance, still working my full-time gig, my company, but we stayed in. So just keep that balance until you're making four times. And we say people, until you're making four times what you're paying yourself, stay in the game of where you're working, and that's what I did. I waited till I was making four times what I was paying myself. And once we got the 20,000 a week, which is crazy to think about, I knew I had walk away money. So, and what that means that I can now walk bigger with the Lord and have his things inside of me that were maybe being pushed down because my time was crowded now could come out. And that's why the purpose of walkaway money isn't to walk away from life is to begin to walk away from the life you were living to be able to walk into a much bigger life with the gifts and talents and skills that God has put in you from the beginning of time, that now you're going to have more time to bring out of you. And so you can find more fulfillment, more reward on why you were born. Why are you on this planet? What's your purpose? And when you have more freedom of time, then the availability of what's inside of you and the gifts and the talents that God has put inside of you now become more present. Because you can only golf so much and buy so many things before you realize that new car smell of having money and stuff wears off. And what remains? Well, the desire to be a blessing to others because we're made in his image. So that's what we found when we got to there, and that's why we're on these calls. So that's just a little overview and of the context that I want to actually share with some of you tonight. And so let me just go ahead and touch upon a few things to share my screen, and we're going to wrap this thing up in the next 30 minutes or less and open it up as well. And so, and go from there. Okay. Where's my screen share at? There it is. Once again, this Believers for Life community that my wife and I started, and this is a team community. We sit underneath the umbrella of this is a team, and to thank God for Stephen Gina Merritt and the pro system they created for us to follow. And what we do is we take that thing and make it granular so you and me can follow a system to succeed. And I gave you part of the dynamic of us having this call tonight is to help connect with each other in the form of community because we're all doing the same thing. We're sharing the same patch, pretty much saying the same thing, facing the same challenges, same opportunities, same blessings. And so it's good to be able to hear from each other because it's obviously encouraging and getting close to the fire. And this is meant for all brand partners, right? And then after this tonight, I'll be giving an X39 presentation at 8 o'clock on the same link here in 36 minutes. And so, but for tonight's agenda is I am gonna open up. So if anybody does have an amazing health testimony or wealth, love to hear it. And we've got rank advancements we'll talk about next week. And we're going to talk about who hit the Bahama cruise, who are the winners, with us. And I have this topic called the loving couple. I'm going to coach on briefly tonight, some nuggets for you. The loving couple is the Comp 2.0, which is coming out this coming week. That means after this week, bam, Comp 2.0 starts next week. And the loving couple of the other side of it, which is the 21-day fast start. 21-day fast start and new Comp 2, they go hand in hand. It's a powerful dynamic. And then, of course, we have the Million Stars coming up this Sunday. I'm just going to push this now. This is everything. Yes, we have the corporate convention starting Friday. Actually, it's Thursday night is a kickoff, but then the sessions start Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time to 6:30 Eastern Standard Time is going to be this is a uh, team meeting that is going to put a pretty bow on the convention that just happened to help get our eyes dialed in on what's next and how to win big. And it's meetings like this that take your belief level up higher, your conviction deeper, and your paycheck up bigger, particularly if you get more people on. So you want to have like a watch party with your team on this Sunday from 11:30 to 6:30. And 11:30 is going to open up with an amazing church service. It's going to be powerful. So if you went to church that morning, we'll go on this again. It's going to be spectacular. You're getting a double blessing. If you didn't go to church, it's going to be a great avenue to be able to see just how this as a team rolls out. A godly event, and it's spectacular. So, and then they're going to roll into the training. And so it's going to be like a mini convention again. It's going to be powerful for this as a team. So, and then we have a 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Well, for some reason, I thought I was mixed up in my mind here that I was going to be able to do that, but I'm going to be on a plane. So I've got to talk to Greg, who's not here tonight because he's at a men's group, see if he can pull off tomorrow night. And if so, great. If not, then we'll move it till next week and start it again. All righty. And then the women's Zoom, we got Anna Hughes and Diane Williams doing that because Mena and we'll be on a plane, and are getting ready, and so for this convention, and we'll be in what's tomorrow? Wednesday? Yeah. We'll be on a plane. So, and then tonight I've got a presentation that I'll be doing like I do every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock here in 33 minutes. And so if you have anybody that you want introduced to this opportunity, text them now, get them to take a look. And if they're ready, I'll help you get them signed up. So that's that there. Now, let's talk about the Bahama Cruise winners, right? And we're so excited because this couple here, they took the whole shooting match. Like no one else in all of LifeWave got as many points as Dennis and Delora did. And so I loved her training on her on when how'd you do it? She just had no apologies. She believed that she had what everybody else needed. And with that confidence, with that heart of faith and faith in God, they made the calls and they got this thing done. Pretty powerful. And we got Josh and Paula Holdaway also, our presidential directors on, Dr. Amanda Kruger, Dr. Amy Wicks, Greg and Amanda Warmbier, me and Diana who made it, and Pete Capinos, and Cheryl and Mike Zink. So congratulations to all of them. Looking forward to being able to have some fun. And I know what we're going to do next time is we're going to look more diligently at helping you win bigger at the next one. So we don't know when that is going to be yet, but we're excited because we want more of you on there because there is nothing better than being with a team that's winning and having fun together. And it's part of the blessing of what this opportunity brings. So, alrighty. So congratulations, everybody. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to stop this is I want to talk about some of the new changes that's coming up here. We've got the Comp 2.0 that's being rolled out Monday of next week. And so what's going to happen is that it may take some time, 24 to 48 hours, they're telling us, by which the system's going to be off. So you're not going to be able to get into your back office and go sign people up. So, which is no biggie because as long as you got this and this, and you got that in your heart here, you've got game, right? So you just sign people up, and then on paper, and then once the system goes live, bam, let's load that thing up and help recrash it by putting more people in, And so we'll test this new system out, give them a run for their money. Hey, it's 4 years in the making, so they're not playing games here. And so, it's pretty awesome here. I'm looking at who is that? You know, who's got a watch party? Oh, Rose and Tony. Yeah, they got a watch party. It's pretty great going on. For
What kind of food are you guys gonna have?
Yeah, exactly. Pete's coming too. They're on another state, Pete. Oh man. All righty. All right. So let's talk about a couple things because beyond, and I'll come back to you guys doing watch parties for this Saturday, and then that it's $89. You can get a virtual ticket for the event for corporate, and which is going to be. Listen, I'm not downplaying that, but it is effective. So if you have, because seeing how corporate operates, seeing the heart of David, you're not going to be able to see Elton John. Sorry about that. You have to be there in person, and those of you who are going, we'll tell you all about it. It's going to be awesome, but. If you had the ability to take a plane ticket and fly, you'd want to fly out there on Sunday. Be in the room. Be around rubbing shoulders with people. If you can't, well, here's the deal. You do the watch party. It's free. Okay? They really need to charge for it because if something's free, you kind of undervalue it because it's worth. I can't put a price tag on it. I used to spend 10 grand for a weekend to go see Tony Robbins or a business function, and it was worth it. And here, this is free. You have the ability to make way more money. Oh my gosh. And the more butts in the seats you have from your team on a Sunday, the faster your paycheck is going to rise. So can't express to you the power of that. But anybody of us who've hit the highest ranks, we understand, we watch what happens to our paychecks when more of our team gets on the team events. And there's an amazing one that's going to be just perfectly timed right before the comp plan change to get us teed up. So let's talk about that. All right, so we have Comp 2.0. Now, if you guys have been paying attention in your back office, so let's go to my back office real quick here. Let's see here. You can see, hold on here, everybody. Oh, you know what? I mean, that's not my default. Hold on here. Here we go. Okay, let me reshare this. Sorry, guys. Share. Here, there it is. If you go in your back office, you can see the comp plan and the new comp plan, training and everything. So when you scroll down, it says right here, news you can use, new comp plan information. And you click that thing right there, and boom, comes up with, the compensation training basically. And so, you have the comp plan itself, you have questions, you know, and translations also. But this one right here, excuse me, guys, hold on, is you just click the link and it will walk you right down through the new comp plan, right? So starting from table of contents, the primary bonuses, additional earning opportunities, you know, so, and just talking about now we're going to 9 ways to make money from 4. And then what that begins to look like. Now, we're going to begin to break this down. We're going to be able to help you guys win big on this. So there's no need to get overwhelmed on, hey, I don't understand it. It's okay. As we get into it, it's just going to begin to make more and more sense. So just stay close to the fire and keep excited. And we are going to learn, as you go and as this thing begins to unpack the breadth and the depth of this program and why it's going to bring stability and security. And we're looking at legacy. The legacy value of this comp plan is huge. And that's what we as leaders, we see. We see a legacy that's more stable than what we currently have. It's going to use what we currently do and currently have and just expand it out a little wider and deeper in these 9 ways that it's going to pay and some of the other ways it pays to help reward people who aren't really making much money now. That's going to shift the money into the front side of the business so they can start making money sooner. And it's going to reward people who are leaders in the other levels of comp plan. So it really is a pretty, 4 years in the making. I think they had over 30 models that they went through testing and tuning over time with consultants and using both Steve and Gina Merritt and other leaders, also Andy Hoser, other distributors, all chiming in because a company that's the fast growing company in the world in this space out of 6,000 companies on its way to hit 1 billion does not want to derail that momentum. Think about that. All right. And so they're looking to establish it. And so, for the future. So this is a preemptive move that sets us up for the future. I just want to give you just some insights with that. And really the simplest thing you can do, just like when we used to talk about, on the current comp plan that's getting ready to modify, is, hey, just work on getting your first 4 people, then go down 20 left, 20 right, and look for those who want to get their 4 people. Well, really, it's still the same. So, but it's really now we have, I think, even a better formula on this 21-day fast start program because that is the loving, the Comp 2.0 plan and the loving cup and the 21-day fast start. That 21-day fast starts leverages like to nobody's business the Comp 2.0 plan, and that was really the genius level of Steve and Gina Merritt and Andy Hoser who really said, okay, how can we take this new comp plan and execute with simplicity that's duplicatable? And because what you and I know doesn't matter, is what duplicates that matters. And boom, this 21-day fast start program, you're going to realize it's really going to become valuable to you. And so when we look at the 21-day fast start going into the back office, and let me see, do you guys, just someone nod your head or let me know, do you see, I changed my screen. Do you see the Believers for Life school program? Or are we still looking at the comp plan? David, what do you see?
We're looking at Believers for Life.
Okay, good. So, when you come to Believers for Life, and you go in the classroom, the first thing we have here is a fast start. And, we have training on it that we've talked about before. Now it's going to become real because now you're getting the new comp plan. Like, oh, now it's rubber meets the road. And you've got the 21-day fast start tracker and you've got the 7-minute strategy. I'd also watch the full video. I watched both these first two videos. I watched those first two, this one and that one. Boom, boom. Right. And then print out this 21-day fast start tracker. And then, because this is going to walk you down through. Because in the first 2 days, it tells you the first 2 days, step one is what? To get your first two, one left, one right. Boom, in the first 48 hours. And, and so then the next thing was to do is say, well, then that same week, next 5 days, get two more people. Now you're manager. Manager your first week, right? Heard that one before. Nothing's changed. Then what's next? Well, as you're starting to get your first two left, first two right, you're going to start looking, hey, who wants to run with you? But as you're doing that, then the next week, the whole week, get two more people. All righty. Now you got 6 people. Keep looking. Who do you want to? Who can you help to help rank up to manager on your left and your right? And by week 3, bam, just get 2 more people. Now you got 8. 4 on the left, 4 on the right. Right. And then, Lord willing, you may have gotten somebody on your left and on your right who wants to do what you just did, because if they do, they're going to go manager. And if they go manager and you get that done in 21 days, then guess what? You're a director. And on the new comp plan, you just went through 3 new levels, because there's 9 levels, 12 levels in the new comp plan, and you just clicked off 3 of them, if not 4. So this is powerful, and this is what's duplicatable. And so when you sign up a new brand partner, boom, who's ready to run, remember, some people aren't ready to run yet. They're just still trying the patch out. They don't believe it yet. But once they believe it, bam, you hand them this fast start challenge, you partner with them, and you help them get their next 4 people, and then help them then get their next 2 and then their next 2, and then point their eyeballs at who wants to run with them what they just did. And so this is going to suck up the sponge of the new comp plan and begin to make them money, And so out of the gate, where they're already making $1,000 to $3,000 within the first month. So, and they're already on point, and they've got greater momentum. And because this is unlike the 30, 60, 90-day program, this now thinks 21 days. It collapses time and gets them rolling to director potentially, in 3 weeks. So, and hey, if you don't hit it, you just keep on going. And so because it's there. So this and the new comp plan, this is what's going to work beautifully together, for us. And we're super excited about making the pivot, if you will. And really the pivot is just doing the same we've done. It's still 20 left, 20 right, and still, getting your first 4, doing your first week, and then replicating that process, because that's what this thing identically looks like. Because after your first 4, we're saying, okay, go find a manager, left and right, and continue to sponsor down, left and right. And so in 20 left, 20 right, that is, years ago, I heard 20 left, 20 right when I spent 6 months in a company called Monavie back in 2006, 2007. We're talking 19, 18 years ago. It's the first time I had any play in seeing this industry. And then after that, we got out, never did anything after that. And I started all over again when I started this business. And so I didn't know anything back then. But I remember listening to a guy named Brig Hart who made $300 million. He's the 3rd highest income earner in the world in this industry. And he was saying 20 left, 20 right. 20 left, 20 right. And so if a guy who made $300 million in business was talking 20 left, 20 right, and we're still talking 20 left, 20 right, and that's what's still playing, and it's pretty powerful. So where are you at right now? How many people have you sponsored down your left and down your right? Do you have 20 left, 20 right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to begin to find your runners out of that. And you may have sponsored 10 people left and 10 people right. But if you did it pretty quickly, you may have found your new people yet, but you're getting ready to pop. And I was on the team call with a great new person today, and they've got 3 left, 4 right, who are brand partners and some other retailers. And I said, Ken, I don't have any run yet. Well, I said, well, you only been in for 1 week. you know, so it's like popcorn. You stay consistent, doing the right thing by others with an amazing company that's going places, with a bunch of people are going places. It's going to happen. And you trust the Lord, it's going to happen. So let me take a look here at my notes here real quick, make sure I cover everything because I'm going to open this up for a second here. Yeah, we have the leadership call, the women tomorrow. Not leadership, excuse me. We've got the women's Zoom happening tomorrow. Um, and then I've got the X39 tonight. So let me do this. I want to open up the our time together, Q&A, and we'll wrap this up here in probably the next 8 minutes. And so if you've got questions about, I'm going to leave this in open form right now because I want to make sure if there's any mental blocks holding you back, questions are holding you back. I want to make sure like we open the field because pretty much everybody goes through the same thing. So if you got questions, and one thing we didn't do, so this we can, forgive me, if you've had an amazing testimony and a physical testimony of the patch or financially too, please open that up. So let's talk about that first. Forgive me for that, guys. But if you got a testimony on the patch, feel free to unmute yourself and do share what that testimony is because we'd love to hear it. And I'll just pause for a minute and see who's got something to say. Make sure you unmute yourself.
Hey, Ken, welcome home.
Hello, Janae. It's good to hear your
Hey,
voice.
you too, and see your face. Wow, you brought it out of the gates within the first minutes and moments of stuff that I've needed. I was taking notes like crazy. I know you recorded this, so I just sat back and started listening, knowing tomorrow I'll pull up the recording and finish up my notes, polish them off. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's what I wanted to say. That's my testimony.
Thank you, Janae. You're awesome.
Yes, sir. Hmm.
Hey Ken, Amy here.
Hey, Amy.
David had his speaker up, so hopefully you can hear me now.
Yes.
So I'm just talking to a friend of mine who's been on the patch for several months, and she was like, I don't know what happened, but I forgot to wear my patch for a few days, and I couldn't figure out why I was not feeling good. And she goes, I just realized that my anxiety level was up. I wasn't sleeping as well. And when I realized that I had forgotten to take the patch, I quickly put them on and feel so much better. So that's just a testimony to just being consistent, and you're going to always feel amazing when you wear these patches consistently.
Yeah, that's awesome, Amy. Appreciate you sharing that. That's great.
I got one.
Go ahead, David. Right behind your wife there.
So you said something about going into, a meeting or whatever with an expectation. So carrying the application is big. I do that when I go into BNI.
Mhm.
And so that comes in really handy. I've done that a couple times with, applications for either people that have referred them to me or members of our chapter. The other thing I've noticed is we're seeing incrementally an increase in our paycheck. Week after week, we're seeing 10%, 20%. Recently, we saw a 40% hike.
Wow.
So that's money. And
Yeah.
like it's been said in past trainings, people they're not necessarily looking for a product; they're looking for money. And so I always present too. I always present the product, and I also present the opportunities. So it's like both oars in the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Great job. Love it. I have a testimony also. I realized just like probably not even a month ago that years ago, before the patch, I had in my gums, right behind I started developing a pocket on top of my whole tooth. I could see a gap because your teeth actually indent in behind your gums. But my gums must have been receding right now. I could see the exposure. And I was asking my dentist, is that normal? He said, yeah, it's normal. I was like, I don't like that. And And I realized I don't have that any longer. I'm like, when did that happen? You know, and my gums kind of filled in over my, like, hey, I don't have that any longer, you know, and it's kind of the power of just making sure you use that tracker. I should have, you know, documented every single little thing I didn't like when I first started. And so that was just really just such a blessing. And so, yeah. Alrighty, who else? Anybody else before we open this up to standard Q&A?
Hey guys, it's Pete.
Pete,
Good.
Go ahead.
Hey, you go first, Joyce.
Oh, no, go ahead, Pete. I want to hear what Pete has to say. Then I'll say mine.
All right, thank you. I have a couple of things sticking out of my mind tonight, and one of which is, is that, everybody does want, better health, and everybody does want more wealth and more income and more stability. But one of the things Matt and Ken keep saying is, there's a lot of people who have some, negative experiences in their past with some of their friends who got obsessed with a network marketing product, right? And so I heard these guys say it's only weird if you make it weird, and it's only weird if you make it weird. And so I haven't been making it weird. But the other thing is, the popcorn comment where, I'm trying to have a fast start, and some days I'm like, there's just nothing going on, I'll have a few calls and they're all sort of duds or a lot of voicemails. And then all of a sudden I get a text, how do I start on this patch? And I'm like, oh, there's another core sign up, And so I think just focusing on keeping it fun, because, sales is a transfer of enthusiasm, and what can you be more excited about than almost unbelievable level of health improvement for people, right? And so I'm just focusing on keeping it fun and waiting for that popcorn to pop, because I'm having a hard time mentally fitting this new obsession and passion into my, day. I'm sure I'm not the only one, whether you're retired or you're crazy busy. Once you set your mind to be successful in this, you got to figure out how to deal with that. And I'm not good at that, like I feel behind I mean, maybe in the last 3 or 4 days, I've finally calmed down a little bit, but for 6 weeks, I felt behind every minute of every day. And it was almost an anxiety, And so I think keeping it fun, and then, obviously the discipline to make those outreaches, and and then be faithful enough to wait on that popcorn to pop, because it's weird how this thing works with the start date and the belief date. And then, I've been just super positive, but there's people who I'm like, man, I haven't heard back from this person in 3 weeks. And then, and then all of a sudden I'll get a text, and who knows, I might be in Europe for 2 weeks. I'm just sort of just keeping positive that it's like, I love what you said earlier about the 3 out of 10, right? Because you make millions. I caddied for a bunch of pro baseball players in Tampa, and you get up to bat, you miss 7 out of 10 times, and you're making millions, and people are wearing your jersey around. So yeah, those are the things that are sticking in my head right now. So it's a good
love it.
call. Staying close to the fire. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I get re-fired up by being on these calls, even if I don't have anybody on them. So I'll yield my time back to you, Joyce. I yield back like a politician.
I'll take it. Quickly, all I want to say is I appreciate your comments because they helped me. This popcorn thing that you mentioned, to keep it fun, because I think I've made mine a little weird because I don't want to be the one. There's Joy. She's going to be talking about those stem cells. And
Right.
I do want to talk about those stem cells. However, the company that I find myself in sometimes, I certainly don't want it to seem like because I have to be in this certain group of people, they need to know about it, but that I'm going to try and do my business because I'm around them. And so I think that's how it becomes a little weird for me. But these are the people that I'm around. They're the people I'm around. They're just my company. And I don't know how not to make it weird, but I'm listening because I do want it when you keep it fun, it's light and
Mhm.
it's, no consequence. It's just like, hey, I'm just trying to share something that's made a big deal in my life. And so just getting around me, I think is the thing. So to stay near the fire, certainly to be cinched by it is certainly what I need to continue to do. So that's all I wanted to share. But I do thank you for all the wonderful comments. This is a great community.
One thing that jumps out at me about that, and I was in another group of guys, and we were doing a fasting challenge, and because I like to have a good time, and I like to eat more food that is smart. So I was on this, like, 15 dudes on this weekly fasting challenge call, and we were doing like 72-hour water fast, 36-hour dry fast, and everybody's weighing themselves, and men, sharing all of the things that are on our minds and our hearts. And one of the guys said, "You know what? I think, we're talking about sharing things with people, and sometimes not being able to get them enthusiastic about it." And somebody on the call said the best way to be effective and useful, because men like to be useful, right? We don't do well if we're not useful. And so the one person said, "You got to be a lighthouse, not a tugboat." And I'm a fisherman, so I thought that makes a lot of sense. If you're always bumping into people and dragging them to things, and you know, you can only you learn pretty quick who's interested and who's not. You sift and sort, and then the people who are interested, when they're done listening, they're done listening. But then if you're going to be around them more, rather than being the tugboat with the rubber sides where you're bumping into them and nudging them this way and trying to tie a rope around them and drag them where you want them to get, just be a lighthouse. So if you're not weird, if you're not obsessed, if you're healthy and you're happy and you're prosperous and you're traveling, being the lighthouse is kind of a good way to get, lost ships to come to you.
Awesome. That's great.
Thank
Well,
you.
that's awesome, Pete, and love everything you shared, and I love that tugboat lighthouse. That's awesome.
Good one.
And one thing I've learned how to do because I do a lot of networking down in Sarasota Lake and Ranch, and I'm well known down there. And so one networking king one year down there is that people hear me, they know my excitement, but what happens when I'm around them again and they didn't really take hold? I kind of just become their friend. Hey, what's going on with you? How can I help you? I encourage them on whatever they're going through in their life. I let them know I care. I care more about them than the patch being on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so when they see me at Publix on aisle 4, they're not hiding in aisle 5. And that's how I'd encourage everybody is people matter, right? They matter more in this patch. And even though because they matter, we want them to wear the patch, right? And but we give people the freedom and we love them where they're at, and then we'll love them all the way to where they want to go. So, you're sifting and sorting and looking for people who are looking. And like Pete said, have fun, stay light on your feet. That's how you have fun. And I would add that as you trust the Lord, because God is fun, He's not sweating it, right? We can come cast our cares on Him because He's not burdened. And we trust God and enjoy the day and be like a child. Be curious, be optimistic about the future, and be hopeful because people want to be around that kind of person, whether they're going to wear their patch or not. So it's the law of magnetism. You want to be a magnet. People want to be drawn to you. And people are drawn to people because they feel they care. They feel they can trust them. And even if they don't agree with them on a patch, they feel like you still think they matter. So that's the attitude I would encourage us to continue to take in that journey. And I know we got to wrap this up here, but I'm excited. And once again, hey, Pete, I just got to give you kudos. I mean, here's a guy who's got 195 employees, he's got 6 companies, plus other things he's got his hands in. So if there's anybody who could be completely distracted from not doing anything with this, it'd be Pete. But yet there's a saying that I have, and is this, is that belief makes room for itself. And Pete, I'll have to tell you something. I don't feel I ever am caught up. And I've had to learn how to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just celebrate the wins, in the day, and I just keep going after more wins. And even though if they're not enough or what have you, um, we still have the most amazing opportunity in the world for people.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we've got God, we're loving our family, and we're focused on our job, our work, and kind of got those things in order, then we can be that dog on the bone with this opportunity. And even if we feel like we're behind, it's what's behind that is not so much. It's because we care, and we want to see people win. And I would say cast your cares on the Lord because He cares for you. And unless the Lord builds the house, and this is what's helped me. We who labor do so in vain. God is a masterful builder, uh, and He wants us to labor. The very first thing God Himself labored for 6 days, and then He rested. Right? He didn't need to labor, but it's interesting. Why did He do that? Right? So, and then the first thing He did with Adam is He gave him a job before He gave him Eve. Go tend to the garden. And so there's a blessing in labor. It answers really to our sinful nature. One who is slack in his work is a brother to one who destroys. And to the day we die, we should be doing something that is fruitful. And so retirement is kind of weird. You can retire from having to work for money, but you should be investing it. But your free time should be laboring to be able to continue to make an impact. So labor is a blessing till we pass. But yeah, 7:58 here. I do have to wrap this up, and I just want to say it's been an honor to be with all of you tonight. I'm so excited. I firmly believe that this time next year, there's going to be hundreds of people on these calls. I believe it. I just believe, unless Jesus comes back. And so, because my God's a big God, I'm a strong finisher, and He always seems to bless me as it gets bigger in time, and He wants to do it with all of us here. Well, I'm going to close out in prayer, and we're gonna end this. And then, hey, tonight, like I said, in the next minute, I'm going to be flipping again, and we're going to be on an X39 presentation. And so, if you got anybody, get them on. And then, tomorrow the women's Zoom, and then we'll see what happens with leadership tomorrow night. We'll post that out. So, Lord, thank you so much for this time together with such wonderful people. You made them each special. Lord, no one has their own voice signature. It's all individually different because each one of them are your favorite. And I pray that you bless them in the call you place for them so they can be fulfilled in this life you've given them with you, with the world around them. And so just help us continue to be the light, Lord, and share the light, particularly with this convention coming up, share the light. And bless Sunday, Lord, as an amazing meeting for the team. And bless David Schmidt and all the corporate and all that's happening this week. And bless the new comp plan coming out and all the work they've done to really be a blessing to people. And so thank you for the opportunity. And we love you and thank you for this in Jesus' name. Amen. Alrighty, guys, I got to hit it and then I'll be back in a minute. So blessings, same link. See you guys.